Jade plants are extremely easy to propagate into new plants. I'll show you both the branch and leaf propagation process. So I'm going to start off with taking a branch cutting. This is my 11, 12-year-old jade, and I've pruned it back a bunch of times and propagated them into new plants. So I'm actually going to take this stem off right here. Anytime there is a branch that grows in a downward fashion, I will prune off. I don't like how this one looks in particular, so I'm actually going to cut this back. We'll propagate it into 3 different plants. Before making the actual cut, you want to find these little lines on the stem, and these are called leaf scars or leaf nodes. So when taking an actual cutting, you want to cut in between 2 leaf scars, and preferably just a little bit above the bottom one. So I'm going to snip this one off here. So this portion is a little bit thicker here as well, so I'm just going to get in as close as I can and just cut above that bottom leaf scar, just like that. So this piece right here will just dry up and eventually fall off. Anytime you make a cutting on a leaf scar, it will promote new branch growth as well. So I'm hoping that it will branch out in more of an upward fashion, and we'll get some more leaves and growth from this area here. So now I have this stem with 3 separate branches, and I'm just going to cut them off individually, and then we'll be planting them in soil. So I'm going to be cutting this off just like that. We'll cut these in between the leaf scars as well. Anytime you take a cutting from a succulent, you want to let the end of the cutting callus over for about 5 days, just so it doesn't introduce any diseases into the plant while it's rooting. Succulents are very good at rooting themselves fairly quickly, but just since I'm not letting these callus over, I will be putting it in some rooting hormone today. It'll just promote some faster root growth, but it is not necessary for succulents. So all you do is put a little bit of rooting hormone in the cap like this, and then just dip the end in some rooting hormone just so it coats it like that, and then just knock off the excess and you can plant it in some soil. With these 2 other cuttings here, I'm actually going to remove some of the lower leaves just so it has more of a stem to be placed in the soil there. So you can cut the leaves off, you can actually just kind of pinch them off as well. Sometimes they come off easy, sometimes they don't. You can just pinch them off, and you can actually propagate these leaves here as well, and I'll show you that in a second. So we'll just cut a couple more leaves off. That way it leaves at least a decent portion of the stem here. So typically you want probably about at least a 3 or 4 inch cutting to be placed in soil. And then this one we can just place in some rooting hormone here as well. Now these are ready to be planted. Just take a small little pencil or something, just make a little hole in the soil, and then just place each individual cutting just in the soil. I'm actually going to have these a little more upright, so I'm going to put it a little bit of an angle. So I'm just going to place the other cuttings in here just as far down as they'll go, and just pack them down a little bit just so that they stay upright. So that's pretty much it for the branching propagation process. Now that they're in a pot, just give it some water. Otherwise put it in a sunny location, and it should start to root in about 2 weeks or so. You can propagate a single leaf into a jade plant as well. Just like with the branch cuttings, you want to let them callus over for about 3 to 5 days. So just set them aside, put them on a counter, and then just let the freshly cut ends kind of crust over. So here's an example of both methods of propagating just from a single leaf. You can place the leaf just flat on some soil, or you can actually stick it into the soil about ½ inch down, just while standing it upright. They will both root themselves and eventually grow into a new plant. So you don't have to water it all that much. Just when it gets really dry, I just give it a little bit of water just to kind of soak the top portion here. But during the growing process, the new plant will actually continue to draw moisture off the leaf, which they're very thick and hold a lot of moisture. And here's some more that I'm growing here as well. So there was a leaf that was here a little while ago, but it actually kind of dried off and died back, so I've already removed it. But once they are done pulling all the moisture off the individual leaf, they will just kind of fall off, or you can snip them off. But as you can see, this is one that I showed in a previous video. It is rooted already, and I'll just place it back in the soil there like that. But it will continue to grow and just root itself down in the soil. So that is the 2 methods of jade plant propagation from branch cuttings and from single leaf cuttings. Very easy. Rooting hormone is not needed, but like I said, I used it today just to kind of protect the ends of these freshly cut jade branches and just to promote quicker root growth. I did not use any rooting hormone on the single leaf cuttings. Like I said, I just let them callus over. That way it protects from any diseases that the plant might acquire. I'm going to be letting this one root for a couple weeks, and then I might be giving this one away. So follow me on Instagram, check back there for any future plant giveaways. That's pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. Bye.